everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. If you are new here, my name is Ellen and I'm the creator behind Sew and Inspire. I've been wanting to do a video where I sit down and kind of go through my yarn stash and share what plans I have for it. And then I also wanted to do a kind of what I want to knit in 2023. So I've decided to combine the two together. It's not like going to be like a full stash tour. I'm just going to share with you what is on my to knit list for 2023 and at the same time share with you the yarn I will be using from my stash. I want to try and use as much yarn as I can from stash this year. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I started knitting at the very end of 2021, so I've been properly knitting for like a year. So in that time I have built up a little bit of a stash, and I've just come to the realization that I do love having a little bit of a stash, but I have found that I see a pattern that I want to knit and then prefer to find the yarn for the pattern rather than having yarn in my stash that I'm trying to find a pattern for. Do you get what I mean? So I'm only going to try and buy yarn this year for like certain projects, but I'm not putting any strict rules on myself, because if you love the yarn then buy the yarn. Okay, let's just get started because we've got quite a bit to get through. I've been keeping like a list on my phone for all the patterns that I want to knit this year, and it's quite long. You can't see that, but it's quite long. Okay, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's just start at the beginning of the list, which is the Cargill sweater by Rebecca Clow, who is the Craybear. As soon as I saw Rebecca knitting this pattern on her podcast, I fell in love with it, and I knew I needed to knit it. So literally when the pattern came out, I bought it straight away, and I was actually going to cast it on, but then it was getting into the time where I needed to start doing gift knits. So I was like, okay, I better wait. And I also had a lot of other things on the needles at that time. So I swatched, which is up there. You can see that pink swatch up there. I was like, yeah, love it. I had the yarn. I had a yarn which would be perfect. So I was like, okay, it's just meant to be. So this yarn has just been patiently waiting in my stash, ready to be knitted into a Cargill sweater. This is the Rico Fashion Cotton Light and Long Tweed DK. It's a really lovely like mild pink with tweedy bits in, which I love. I'm on a real love for like tweedy yarn at the moment. For some reason I didn't realise that this was a 47% cotton, 43% acrylic, 7% polyamide, 3% viscose blend. So if I was looking for yarn for the Cargill, I definitely wouldn't pick this, but I bought this yarn when my local haberdashery, which also sold a bit of yarn, shop was closing down last year, and there was enough left for a sweater's quantity, so I was like, and it feels really nice, like really lovely. And that was when I kind of was getting into knowing about the bright yarn, but clearly not fully reading what the composition was. But anyway, I just think this will really be beautiful in a Cargill, and I can't wait to knit this. I'm just waiting for the right time to cast it on, because I've got quite a few projects at the moment that aren't mindless, so it's waiting for its slot for a non-mindless project. Okay, next up we have the first cardigan by Lizzie from Hive Knits. I am in love with the first sweater and the first cardigan. The first sweater is also on my list. I have been wanting to knit the first sweater ever since I saw it on her podcast, and it came out at the beginning of last year, so I wanted to knit it ever since then. But there've just been other things that I've kind of had the yarn for, so that I knitted. So it's still, I still haven't knitted it. So this year I will knit at least one of them, but I hope both of them. So I got this yarn, again, back when I didn't really know much about yarn, and I'd heard people talk about Diablo mohair. And I was like, I want to try it because I've had so many people talk about it. But it is 40% acrylic, 30% mohair and 30% polyamide. So it's not the nicest, and I would 100% not purchase this again. Now that I know a lot more about yarn and things. This year I've also decided I really want to try and use majority like animal fibres. And quite a lot of my stash isn't, so that's another reason why I want to use up my stash, so I can bring in yarns that I really love and I know will last, and obviously better for the environment and things like that. Anyway, I feel like I am digressing so much. Yeah, I bought this at the beginning of last year because it was on sale for like a crazy price. So I bought enough to make the first sweater. Never got it made, and now I have decided that I want to use this held with a lighter pink fingering to make the first cardigan. This is a really, I really do love this colour. It's like a really lovely dusky pink. It's in the colour 43. I just think it will look really beautiful, kind of mild, I'm kind of thinking anyway, held with a lighter pink fingering weight. So yeah, that's my plan for what I want to use for the first cardigan. I don't have any yarn in stash right now that I would want to use for the first sweater, so I will be on the lookout to find the right yarn for that. Next up we have this yarn, which is Rico Baby Merino. Again, I got this when that yarn shop was closing down, and it's in this, I don't know what shade of blue you would call this actually, like a dusky duck egg blue, I don't really know, but it's 100% wool, which is great, love that. And I didn't know what I wanted to make with this. I originally bought it with Cami 5 in mind, and I do really want to make Cami 5 by my favourite things knitwear, because ever since I saw it I loved it, and I just think it would be a really good staple piece for me. But I have way more yarn, and I don't know if I want to make that in a wool. So then I saw another ribbed body, and as soon as I saw this I was like, I need that, I need to knit it, I love it, I would wear it all the time, I love it. And I was like, maybe I'll use this because it needs a fingering weight yarn. I have enough, I don't actually. For the amount called for in the pattern, I don't have enough, but I actually plan on not making it into a bodysuit, so I'm guessing I wouldn't need as much yarn. So I mean, I'm gonna make it work anyway. So that is what I think I'm gonna be making with this, and I am really excited about it because I know it's going to take me a long time because it's on like 3-something millimeter needles and fingering weight, and it's ribbing, like all ribbing, but it's going to be so worth it. And for me, I'm realising that it matters more, the finished garment matters a lot more to me than it being really quick, and enjoying the process is so much more important. Slowing down and enjoying the process and letting it take how long it takes is something that I'm really trying to do this year, and it's okay to do that. Okay, next up on my to knit list is the Dartmoor sweater by Cargill. I love this sweater so much. I absolutely love the detail, the like kind of seam detail across the back shoulder seam. I just really love it, and I really love the style. I just think it'd be such a good basic everyday jumper to have in my wardrobe. Don't have the yarn for that one yet either, but definitely want to make sure it's a really lovely, good quality yarn, because I think it, as I said, it will just be such a staple that will be able to go with everything and stay in my wardrobe for like forever. I'm really looking forward to making that one. And also sweater number 23, to me that one and the Dartmoor sweater are like the same kind of category of sweater, so I don't think I would make both, or at least not in the same year. But just that kind of oversized straight sleeves, nice thick ribbed neckband, drop shoulder, relaxed sweater is just 100% on my list for this year. And also along those same lines, I have been seeing striped oversized drop shoulder sweaters everywhere, like everywhere, and I really want one. Basically the pattern I will probably use is the petite knit Marseille sweater. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Tiffany Lou made this sweater, and as soon as I saw hers I wanted to make it. Now I'm seeing like them everywhere, like in shops and people on social media wearing them. I just think it's perfect. I have an idea of what I want to use. So in December, Woolly Knit do these like kilo sales, and normally like they only do them in their like warehouse, like you have to go, like they don't do it online. But in December, if you were on their newsletter, they kind of did like 24 days of offers. It was incredible, but one of the days was their kilo sale, and they did it online. You paid £15 for a kilo of Woolly Knit 4-ply cones, and you were surprised basically with what colours you got, and I was over the moon with the colours that I got. Like, I'm so happy. I got these 3 neutral ones. So I got a really lovely dark grey one, and then this darker brown one, and then I believe this is the shade Oatmeal, which I've wanted to try. So I was thinking I could possibly use one of these 2 held with a mohair for the stripes, and then get a cream base or something like that. But then I also think a cream base with their navy blue contrast stripes would be beautiful. But I'm just craving an oversized sweater with stripes that start like after you split the sleeves, like the Marseille sweater does. So I may have to cast that on sooner rather than later. And then with the oatmeal cone, which I got, I think there will be just enough to make a sweater held with a mohair. And as soon as I saw the Elizabeth blouse by Petite Knit, I fell in love with it. Like, that will be knitted this year, I can already tell you, and it took a lot for me to not cast it on straight away. But this, I'm thinking of using this held with a mohair to knit the Elizabeth blouse. I just think it would be really lovely. Next on my list is the Dunes cardigan by Cargill. I saw this cardigan on Instagram and I was like, I absolutely love that, because I have been looking for a kind of basic cardigan but with a little bit of something, but I'm not like huge into lace to wear personally. I think it's beautiful and I love knitting it for other people, but just for me personally to wear it, I don't think I would wear it. But I just absolutely love the lace detail on this. I literally couldn't wait for it to come out so I could see what yarn it needed and how much, because I have this yarn, okay? And this yarn, I cannot even tell you how many hours of my life have gone into looking for a pattern to go with this yarn. It's Wendy Purity Superwash Merino Cotton. So it's 30% wool and 70% cotton. And firstly, the colour. It's not cream enough to be cream, so it won't wash me out. but it's not beige enough to be beige, so it would wash me out, and I'm really concerned about it, so I don't think I could make a jumper in this. So then I was like, maybe I'll make a slipover for my mum, and for a while I was thinking the Over It slipover by Lily Kate Makes, which I do really want to make, and for a while that was destined to be this yarn. But then KG came out with this cardigan, and I need to gauge swatch because it says this is a DK. Does it? Or did I just completely make that up? Oh no, it doesn't actually. It's 50 grams is 100 meters. And I would more call that a worsted Aran weight. So, as I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to get gauge for this cardigan because it is like worsted to bulky, but I'm going to gauge swatch, and if I do, then this will be that cardigan because I just think it'll be perfect, little cropped with a little bit of detail, and I have the right amount for the smallest size. So we will see if I get gauge, but if I don't, then it will become the Over It slipover by Lily Kate Makes. Oh my gosh, next is the Lanark sweater. It isn't even out yet, by Rebecca from the Crowbaiter. I know I've said this with so many of them, but as soon as I saw this I was like, I need that in my life, like I need it. And the really weird thing is that around the time when she first showed it, this girl at work was wearing this jumper which literally looks exactly the same as the Lanark, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love your jumper, where's it from? And she was like, oh, Primark, literally years ago. And I was like, when she was telling me that, I was literally going through and I was like, what pattern can I use to make that? And then it came to me and I was like, Lanark. Hers was in a really lovely creamy beige, and I just haven't been able to get it out of my head since, so that is what that is going to be, without a doubt. Okay, next up we have a really exciting project, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably should have prioritised this right at the beginning of the year to knit up. Sorry mum. But for Christmas I got my mum this beautiful hand-dyed yarn by Adventures in Yarncraft. It's in the colourway Winterberry on her merino sock, which is 85% seawash merino and 15% nylon. Just look how beautiful this is. As soon as I saw this, I was like, that is the most my mum thing you have ever seen in your life. So I ordered her 2 skeins, and I wanted to knit her a jumper in it for Christmas, but it didn't arrive in time for me to make it up for her for Christmas, so I ended up just wrapping up the yarn and giving it to her. And to go with it I got Drops Kid Silk in the colour Light Lavender, I think it's called, that I'm gonna hold with this. I have never made a garment in hand-dyed yarn before, so that will be a new learning process, and I'll have to figure out if I want to do like helical knitting or something. I don't know. I need to do more research on how to do it, but then I'm like, because I'm holding it with a mohair, do I need to? I don't know. But my original idea for this was to make the ranunculus because everyone and their wife has made it, and I really love it and I think it would be beautiful. But then Rebecca from the Crowbaiter and Amy Palco are currently hosting a knit along for the Lento sweater, and I was like, that could work, and maybe that would be better because it's just a basic raglan sweater, but then I feel like the yarn would be able to do the talking. When the ranunculus, I'm worried the lace would get a bit lost and it would all just get a bit busy. So I think I will be making the Lento with this instead. I really hope I have enough. I think I will. We'll be fine. right? Let's hope. My only concern is my mum does like her sweaters to be quite long. We'll see. Okay, next, I'm sorry to say it, but next on my list is the Moby sweater by Petite Knit. I know, I am that person, but I just really love it, okay? And I have this yarn, which is King Colt Forest Recycled Aran. This is not an Aran weight. Like, you cannot tell me that this is an Aran weight yarn, okay? You just can't. Anyway, I originally bought this to make my dad's zipper sweater, but I don't know why, because me and my mum looked at it and we were like, why did we think that would be a good colour? Because my dad literally never wears grey or black, like it's just not really his colour. So anyway, then I was left with quite a lot of this yarn. And I didn't know what to make with it. And then I was on Petite Knit's website, as I quite often am. And I think it was actually her, hold on. It was actually her Ingrid slipover. But she'd made it in this really like dark charcoal grey. And I was like, you know what, that actually looks really lovely. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use this in the Moby sweater, because I was worried that you wouldn't really be able to see the cables and detail and stuff, but it looks really lovely in a darker colour. So that is what I'm planning to make with this, or the Ingrid sweater. I do really want to make the Ingrid sweater as well, so I think this will definitely become one of those. The other option that I have for the Ingrid sweater, which I did actually start, I got this far, and then ripped off the needles because I needed the needles for something else. I had too many things on the go. But I have this cone of Woolly Knit British Wool Full Ply, which I got from someone's D-stash in the shade Mallard, and it's this really lovely forest green. And I was holding it double. I didn't do a gauge swatch, so I am kind of worried that it's too thin. But then I had a brainwave, because also in that kilo of yarn, which I got from Woolly Knit at Christmas time, this came in it. I don't know what colour this is, to be honest with you. One day I think it's blue, the next day I think it's green, the next day I think it's black. Like, I think it is green. I think it's like a petrol, I don't know. But yesterday I had the thought of holding these two together to make the Ingrid sweater, and I just think it would add a little bit of something if I held them together, like they'd be a bit mild kind of thing. I don't know, so we'll see what I end up doing and what sweater I actually end up making. Maybe I'll make a sweater that actually calls for this weight of yarn, or maybe I'll just do a gauge swatch, because I'm so lazy. But I am getting better, okay? I am getting better. The Ingrid sweater is definitely on the list for this year. I have the pattern because I cast it on, obviously, but just didn't get very far because I needed to start gift knitting for Christmas. Next up we have a pair of socks, and they are the Ecstatic socks. Am I saying that right, or am I being really stupid? Because I am dyslexic, so don't come for me if I read that completely wrong. They are by Cool Stitches. I don't actually know her name, but I absolutely love her so much. If you don't follow her on Instagram and you're a knitter or a sewer, you need to. I love her. I get so inspired by her, and she's just come out with the Ecstatic socks, and they are a beautiful cabled sock pattern. I'm not usually into socks other than stockinette socks. I've just decided I'm not interested. Actually, here you go. I started a pair of these patterned socks and I just hated it, to be honest with you. Like, I was like, I'm putting in all of this effort for such a small thing, but there's something about these I just love so much. And with the mohair, I think it's beautiful. I have quite a few mohair leftovers, so I haven't actually looked how much the pattern needs, but maybe I'll be able to use some of that. I'm not sure, but I just think they're beautiful and I really want to knit them this year. Next yarn is this Rico Fashion Cottony, which is 85% cotton and 15% polyamide. This was in a sale bin in a yarn shop and it was really soft, so I bought it. They only had 3, but you get 200 meters. So I was thinking what pattern I could use, and I'd say this would be like the equivalent of holding 3 strands of mohair together. So I'm thinking of making this into the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit, but something light and airy like that I think this will be made into. Right, how much more have we got to go? Oh god. Okay, let's go on to, next is a shawl. There's actually a little bit of a story. So I started the West Knits Mystery Knit Along for this year, Twist and Turns. I finished Clue 1. Here it is. Oh god, I haven't got this out in so long. And I really am not a fan, if I'm being honest. I'm really not a fan of the finished shawl, and it's a lot of work goes into it, and I'm not sure I want to put in that much work for something that I don't absolutely love. Like, chevrons are just not my thing. Like, if I knew that there would be chevrons in it, I wouldn't have gone for it. I don't know what it is, just they're personally just not my thing. Like, I think his designs are absolutely beautiful. Like, the fact that someone came up with that blows my mind. Like, and I think it's beautiful, but it's just not my taste. He then came out with the Aurora cabin shawl, and I fell in love instantly when I saw it. And I was like, maybe I could use the yarn from this to make the Aurora cabin shawl. So that is a possibility. I'm using Opal, it's all in a different language, but the Opal 4-ply sock yarn. And I have this colour, this green colour and this purple colour. And then I also have this hand-dyed yarn from Yellow Van Yarns, I think. I got it at a yarn show. And I got this first for the shawl, and then I kind of got these to kind of pair with it. I'm not sure how it's going to look, if I'm honest. Now, obviously, this is only 3 colours, and it calls for 5. So, I may get 2 other colours, or I may try and do it with 3, because I saw this shawl and they use very kind of muted colours, and 2 of the colours are very similar, so it kind of looked like she only used 3, and it looked really lovely. So I may try and just use 3, but we will see. I don't know, but I would absolutely love to knit that because I just think it's so beautiful. I'm like surrounded by yarn right now, but I'm not complaining. Okay, next yarn is quite boring at first, but basically I have this 500-gram cone of undyed 4-ply sock yarn, which I bought because ever since I saw Lizzie from Hive Knits make her, I think it was sweater number something, or the Wednesday sweater, one of them, but she made it with a white yarn held with a hand-dyed mohair, and ever since I wanted to make a sweater with hand-dyed mohair held with a plain white yarn. So I got this waiting ready to make that sweater, and I asked for some hand-dyed mohair for Christmas, but I couldn't find the right thing. I think I have actually now found it, but Unravel is next weekend. So instead my mum was like, why don't you I just give you the money so that when you see the yarn, because we plan to go to a few yarn shows, if you see the yarn there then you can get it there. Because that kind of thing, I feel like hand-dyed yarns, it's just like, I prefer to like see it in person. So I'm really hoping that I find a beautiful hand-dyed mohair to go with this at Unravel next weekend, so that I can make that sweater. The reason why I'm having such difficulty is because I really want a pink hand-dyed mohair. There seems to be every other colour, which is just so beautiful, and I nearly went for a different colour because I think it just looks so beautiful. But I was like, when I actually think about wearing it, I just don't think I want to wear a pink hand-dyed mohair sweater, you know? So I decided to wait until I find the perfect one. And when I find my perfect hand-dyed mohair, I am thinking of making, well, I really want to make the Pippin sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl. I don't know why, but as soon as I saw that stitch pattern, I fell in love with it. Like, I just think it's beautiful. So possibly that, but then I don't want it to be all too hectic with the hand-dyed mohair. But I do really want to knit the Pippin sweater. Okay, the final yarn which I have to share with you today, because otherwise we will be here for hours and I doubt you want to hear me drivel on for any longer. But it is this beautiful hand-dyed lace weight from Dragon Hill Studio. It's their Launceston lace, 70% alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere. I don't deserve this. Like, it's so beautiful. But I got this at the Southern Wool show. Can you see that? It says 10, it was on sale for £10. I couldn't not. And this is enough to make a souffle. So that's what I'm gonna make. I already made a souffle last year for my mum, but I really want one. I was just trying to find the right yarn, and then this came and I was like, that's it. I'm a bit worried about the colour, but I think it's just dark enough to be okay. I'm really excited about it. It's so soft, so beautiful. I'm so excited about it. I also really want to make the Chunky Souffle by Laura Penrose. Again, I'm just waiting for the right yarn. Can I just say, will I actually be able to knit all of these things in a year? Probably not, because there will be gift knits as well. But there are just so many things I'm just so excited to knit, and I just wanted to share them with you. Okay, that is not everything in my stash, but they are all of my kind of top, would really love to make soon patterns for this year. We will see how many of them get made, but then again, these amazing designers keep coming out with such beautiful patterns, so I'm sure there will be more that I want to make. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you maybe found some inspiration and just enjoyed having a little nitty chat with a friend. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because it would mean the absolute world to me and it really does help me out. There will be another knitting podcast very soon. I really procrastinate doing them because I just feel like no one watches them, which isn't a good reason at all, because I'm still trying to find my knitting audience, so I really need to keep going. But anyway, even if I don't find my knitting audience, I just love filming them anyway. I just kind of get in my head about these things, so it's taken me, I mean, we're in the middle of February and I've only just plucked up the courage to do this video. Hope you all have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you very soon for a brand new video. Bye!